What would you do if you moved into your dream home, only to find a locked room you didn't know existed, and heard something alive behind the door? That's not a what if for me, it's what happened. My name's Ethan, and this isn't just some spooky tale to pass the time. It's real, it's my life, and it's why I'm still afraid to close my eyes at night. Welcome to Friday 13, where we only tell true horror stories that'll crawl under your skin and stay there. If you're ready to face the unknown with me, lock your doors, turn off the lights, and let's step into a nightmare that's all too real. Because this, it could happen to you. It started with a sound I couldn't explain. A sound that made me question everything. A sound that made me question everything I thought I knew about my own house. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll be listening a little closer to the noises in your own walls. I'm 22, a graphic designer, and last spring, I decided it was time for a change. I'd been stuck in apartments my whole life, so when I found this house online, old, affordable, full of charm, I jumped at it. It was a fixer-upper in a quiet town, the kind of place where everyone knows everyone. The first few days were great, unpacking, painting, making it mine. But then, one afternoon, I went down to the basement to check the furnace. That's when I saw it, a door I hadn't noticed before. It was tucked behind some rotting crates, covered in cobwebs, with a rusted padlock chaining it shut. It looked like it hadn't been touched in decades. I figured it was just storage, but something about it felt wrong. Why was it locked? What was worth hiding in a house this old? I asked the realtor, Mr. Hensley, about it. He laughed it off, said old houses have their quirks. Probably just junk from the last owners. But his laugh was forced, and he changed the subject fast. I tried to let it go, but I couldn't stop wondering. What was behind that door? That night, I found out I wasn't the only one curious. It was my third night in the house, and I woke up to a noise. Soft, at first, like a sigh drifting up from the basement. I thought it was the furnace kicking on, but it didn't stop. Then, it turned into a tapping, slow and steady, like someone testing a wall. I grabbed my flashlight and headed downstairs, telling myself it was nothing. The basement was freezing, the air heavy. I aimed the light at the locked door, and the tapping stopped, like it knew I was there. Then, just as I turned to leave, I heard it. A single, sharp thud right behind the door. My heart jumped. Was something in there? Had it heard me too? I bolted upstairs and locked the basement door, but sleep was off the table. The next night, it happened again. Tapping, then a thud, always at 3:13 a.m. By the third night, it wasn't just noises. I started feeling watched. I'd be in the kitchen, and the hairs on my neck would stand up, like eyes were boring into me from below. I had to know. What was making those sounds? Was it trapped or waiting? I couldn't ignore it anymore. I started digging into the house's history. It was built in the 20s, passed down through the same family, until Mr. Hensley sold it. So, I found tax records, photos, even a newspaper article from 1972 about a teenage girl, Mary Klein, who vanished from this town. Her family lived here back then. No one ever found her. Then I hit the jackpot. An old diary I found in the attic, written by a man named Harold Klein, Mary's uncle. One entry, dated 1973, made my stomach drop. The room is sealed. It has to stay that way. She's not herself anymore. My mind raced. Who was she? Was this about Mary? What had they locked away? I showed it to my friend Sarah. She's a history buff, always up for a mystery. It's probably just a creepy coincidence, she said, but her voice wavered. I wasn't so sure. That night, I set up my phone to record outside the door. At 3:13 a.m., the tapping started, louder, insistent. When I played it back, I nearly dropped the phone. Mixed with the taps was a voice, faint and raspy, saying, "I'm still here." It wasn't the wind. It wasn't pipes. It was her, or something pretending to be her. I had to end it. The noises, the voice, the feeling of being hunted in my own home. It was too much. Sarah agreed to help me open the door. We grabbed a crowbar and went down together. The basement felt alive, the air buzzing. We stood in front of the door, and the tapping started. Faster, frantic, like it knew what we were about to do. Sarah whispered, "Ethan, are you sure?" I wasn't, but I nodded. We jammed the crowbar into the lock and pried. The chain snapped, and the door creaked open. What was waiting inside? Was it Mary, or something worse? The room was tiny, barely bigger than a closet, with a dirt floor and no windows. At first, it seemed empty, just cobwebs and dust. But then, Sarah pointed the flashlight at the walls. They were covered in scratches, deep, desperate marks forming words. "Help me." My chest tightened. Had Mary been here? Suddenly, the temperature plummeted, and the door slammed shut behind us. We were trapped. And then, from the shadows, I saw it. A figure, small and hunched, moving toward us. Was it her? Or had something else taken her place? We hammered on the door, but it wouldn't give. The figure was feet away, its breathing ragged, uneven. I could feel it. Anger, pain, something ancient and wrong. Sarah was crying, and I was yelling, but the voice from the recording cut through everything. "I'm still here." It was coming from the figure. In a blind panic, I remembered the diary. She's not herself anymore. I shouted, "We're leaving! We're done!" The air shifted, like a weight lifting, and the door flew open. We stumbled out, falling up the stairs. When I looked back, the room was empty, the door locked again. But the scratches were gone. Had we freed her? Or let something else loose? That's my story, and it's as true as the goosebumps I've got retelling it. I don't live in that house anymore, but I still hear that voice some nights. I'm still here. If you've ever felt something watching you, heard a sound you can't place, or found a corner of your home that doesn't feel right, you're not alone. Share your story in the comments. I want to know. Could it be Mary? Could it be something else? Hit that like button if this kept you glued to the screen, and subscribe to Friday 13 for more true horrors that'll make you double check your locks. Because out there, in the quiet, something's waiting. Stay vigilant. I'll see you in the shadows.